would you say is the importance of legislation of political party financing? Why, does this have to be very important?
Oh, it is important for a number of reasons, but I think for us the key reason really is to just see to it that you are regulating the flow of finances that are going to political parties. Now, the importance of regulating that is that you do not want a situation where you have political parties being funded through illicit finances or through illicit financing. What that would do also is that it would create an opportunity or an avenue for those funders of political parties to actually engage in what we call state or policy capture. What that entails is that if, for example, there's a political party that is in opposition right now, and then it is receiving illicit funding, maybe from sources that are not credible or sources that are questionable, the likelihood is that if such a political party was to form government, it would then make it potentially possible for those funders to actually dictate everything to do with policy, everything to do with legislation in a manner that potentially could benefit them as a form of a payback. So the issue of state capture is a big one, and of course, if you look at our region, we have an example from South Africa as to the dangers of state capture. So what political party and campaign financing legislation does is that it provides a basis in which or upon which you can actually regulate who funds political parties in Zambia, and just make sure that the sources of those funds are credible and they are sources that are not going to engage in state or policy capture at any point. So basically, that is why it is important for us to regulate how our political parties are funded.
Well, it's good you speak about state capture. How much of it is a concern, for Zambia, and have we seen this happen in our country?
I mean, it is a concern in the sense that money does have quite an influence on many aspects, including, the operations of political parties. So it really is a case of us just making sure that we are insulating ourselves, in a sense, against that possibility, because the possibility is always there that if, a political party is funded through illicit sources, then it makes it more possible for it to be captured in terms of the policy positions that it would take, but also in terms of the legislative framework that it will be pushing once that political party forms government. But I also just need to mention that this is not just in relation to opposition parties, because state and policy capture can take place even with the party in government, because that is the party that is actually controlling state resources. So I think that it is important for us to put this law in place in order to insulate ourselves against the potential dangers of the state being captured in terms of policy, as well as other provisions that relate to the livelihood of Zambians.